Hey, it's a brand new day. My name is Ramon Ray, and this is the Rundown with Ramon. Thanks for being here today. If you weren't here, what a lonely show it would be. And I'm so glad you're here to share this show with me. This is the Rundown with Ramon. All we ask is about 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 things you need to know to live your best life or start or grow your business. And I'm so glad you're here today. I hope your day is going fantastically well. If your day's not going so well, I hope spending a few minutes rather with me in the Rundown with Ramon can make your day better. If your day's already doing great, well, I hope your day stays fantastically great because this is the Rundown with Ramon, and I'm so glad you're here today. With that, let's get the show started today. I have a little special segment I want to bring to you. We'll see how that goes. It's about AI. We'll see if we get into that or not. But first, I'm going to talk about something about AI. So let's get right to it. Ding, 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 ding. How to decide if AI should be part of your growth strategy. I'm bringing AI insights, AI information quite a bit to you because I believe it is that transformational and so important. Should AI be part of your growth strategy? Well, my answer to that is easily yes. The question is, how should it be? Harvard Business Review has an amazing article out, and it talks about a few things you should think about. One, clearly define what AI means for your business. Identifying a realistic use case is important. That clear definition of what AI might mean for your business. Number two, it's important to evaluate whether the current state of technology can satisfy your use case. Apple has wasted billions of dollars working on a concept for a car predicted on autonomous driving. While self-driving AI capabilities currently exist, they do not approach full autonomy and are unlikely to do so anytime soon. A project predicted on technology that is not yet available is simply not possible, and promises of just around the corner are usually too risky a bet to take. Number three, determine how and whether you can use the technology you need. This is very important. Determine how and even whether you can assess the technology you need. As AI is moving fast, it is nearly certain that you will not have the capabilities you need in-house. And given the current hype, the availability of talent, as well as the partnering capacity of existing players will be limited. We suggest that you start by evaluating the availability, cost, and timeliness of how you will get access to the core AI capability. Gauge your overall AI appetite. Is it simply testing the waters, or go big or go home? Number five, assess your execution capabilities. This is important to keep in mind from the Harvard Business Review. Ding, 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 ding. The best criteria for selecting a business partner. This was very interesting to me. And there's 9 tips that the Balance Money talks about that you can use for selecting your business partner. One, passion. One of the key factors that a partner in business should have is passion. As you're selecting a partner to work with you, if they're not excited about what you will be working with together, I don't know if you should be working with them. Number two, same vision. It will be very easy for you to achieve the business goals you have set if you work with somebody whom you share the vision with. A mission is halfway accomplished if the individual involved has a well-structured vision and strategy. Number three, business networks. Depending on what you want to deal in as a partnership, it is advisable to look for a partner whose entrepreneurial network has wide connections. You should not look for an amateur who does not know anything in business. Next point, experience. As an entrepreneur, you have to do a feasibility test about your business. If you have never been in the kind of business that you want to start, it would be a great idea to involve a partner who has a certain level of experience. The experience in business really matters, especially in terms of risk assessment, season assessment, and cost minimization. Next point, creativity. I like this. One of the key things that might make your business prosper is the uniqueness that you bring to the market. In order to bring up that uniqueness, it is good to have someone by your side who is creative and has unmatched ability to come up with fresh ideas for the betterment of the company. Financial strength. No business can be run without fiscal strength. The partner you're with, do they have the finances, the fiscal strength in one way or another to match with you? Comfort with risk. Does the partner you seek to work with have some comfort with risk? If you're looking for a business partner, it would be good for you to choose someone who has a high tolerance for risk, because without risk, remember, you might not be able to achieve anything in the business world. So this is important to keep in mind. Are they a good decision maker? You want a partner that can help you, be an asset to you to make good decisions, and not one who does not do that. Last but definitely not least, the partner you seek to work with, are they honest and trustworthy? Again, my name is Ramon Ray. If you're just joining, this is the Rundown with Ramon. All we ask is for just about 30 minutes of your time to give you the top things you need to know to live your best life or start or grow your business. And I'm so glad you're here today. One thing I want to touch on today, and I do want to bring in, is the aspect of a report that Adobe recently had about how more and more consumers are using AI. I did a little special report for you today, and I want to share that with you right now. So check this out as well. And this little report here could be interesting to you. Let's see how this goes. If I can bring this to the screen successfully. Here we go. My name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com. Adobe released a new report about AI and consumer use, and I wanted to share that report with you again. My name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com. Check out this insight from Adobe. It just released a new report, and I wanted to put some video to it because it's about AI, and AI is so important, so pervasive in society. I thought to bring it out, put a little video to it. I'm not sure which platform you're going to see this on, but I want to unpack the new research from Adobe that reveals over half of Americans have used generative AI and expect to use it more for shopping, travel, and personal use cases. I think that we've paid a lot of attention to AI being this tool to be used for businesses, but there's so much more to that. In fact, recently I was talking to a good friend of mine. His name is Josh Johnson. He's an entertainer, a tap dancer, and so much more, a keynote speaker and more. And I said, Josh, as we were departing, I said, Josh, are you using AI? He was like, yo, yeah. You think back in the day, Tyler Perry used his original creativity for scripts and movies and video. That's still important. But today, as time has gone on, I believe it's okay to use generative AI to help us with ideas, to do prompts, to ask questions, and to compile ideas even from others, giving them credit as necessary. So here's the thing. The research from Adobe reveals several interesting gems. One, the research surveyed 3,000 U.S. consumers about their usage and consumption of generative AI, and the findings are an exciting look at how the American public is adopting and feeling about this powerful technology. And this is interesting because normally, again, my assumption has been that it's been primarily a business tool, but I believe that more and more consumers, especially those who are on the leading edge of technology, are going to be using this more and more and more. The key findings include the majority of the American public are aware of generative AI, and 53% of U.S. consumers say they've used the technology. That is growing. So it's not just for business. Clearly, consumers are using it too, not just for business. Americans are using generative AI for exciting use cases like researching, alternative to search. And I must say, that's another thing I'm doing. I'm using generative AI much more than I am using a regular search engine, which of course is why Google and Microsoft and others are investing into AI search, creating art, helping them be more creative and making life easier. Now, 41% of the consumers surveyed, and this could be, again, Adobe surveying consumers, maybe lends itself to a more highly tech audience. But point being, 41% of consumers already expect brands to use generative AI today, and most respondents, that 77%, express a desire for their brand experience to be personalized to their needs. People expect brands to be personalizing technology. Chatbots, text, prompting, and image generation are the most common ways consumers have interacted with a brand using generative AI. People, it's only going to grow. Question here also, survey research finds, can AI tools, or Gen AI tools rather, have boosted online traffic to retail sites by 304% and online traffic to travel sites by 553% year over year. So this pro and con about is AI bad? Is AI good? Listen, I get it. There's cons to all new things. People don't like change, but clearly there's a lot of good for using generative AI. Two-thirds of marketers are already using generative AI, and over half expect it to significantly transform their industry within the next year. Moving on to a different point here now. Headline here says generative AI has captured the interest of the American public, with the majority of U.S. respondents saying they've used generative AI like an AI-powered chatbot or image generator. While generative AI is still in its early days, for sure it is, over half of Americans surveyed have used generative AI. So let's dive into this a bit more. Today, most consumers use generative AI in their personal lives, 81%, followed by a rising trend of utilization at work, 30%, and a smaller but still meaningful usage rates for school, 17%. Even as this emerging technology is early on when compared to other technology, so it's still early, but the hockey stick growth for sure is shooting up there. We can see that the people have adopted generative AI early are excited about the technology. Of those who regularly use generative AI, almost half, 41%, use it every day. Next bullet point. Americans are using generative AI in many ways, making them more creative and making life easier. Given the excitement and curiosity about generative AI, listen to this, consumers are already experimenting with using this technology for a variety of ways. Brainstorming, 64%. Creative first drafts of written content, 44%. Creating visuals or presentations, 36%. Trying an alternative to search, 32%. Summarizing written text, 31%. Creating images or art, 29%. Listen, this is a survey data, and the reason I wanted to take the time to unpack this for you from Adobe is because I want you to get on the bandwagon. Another subheading, bullet point here. Generative AI is here to stay, and consumers already expect they're already expecting brands to use it to make customer experiences more personalized and easier to navigate. A lot to unpack here, but one thing I want to pull out. Consumers see the potential in how brands can use the technology, making their shopping and digital experiences with brands more enticing. This is a real thing, people. Get on the bandwagon. Another point here, chatbots. Chatbots are the most common ways Americans have interacted with brands using generative AI. Consumers are already aware that brands are starting to use generative AI today and believe that brands should use it to improve their experiences. Using a chatbot is the top way U.S. consumers, that's 48% of them, have interacted with brands using generative AI. AI is not going away. It's only going to be used more and more and more. The question is, will you embrace it for yourself? Now talking about how generative AI tools are significantly boosting traffic of travel and retail sites. 58% of respondents say that generative AI has already improved their online shopping experience. This is a fact, people. This is a fact. In fact, in travel, respondents seek what? One thing they speak when they're looking for travel, doing the research, they want convenience. Here's how people expect. Nearly all consumers find the following applications for travel appealing. Check this out. Receiving a comparison of pricing options for travel. Almost 100% want comparison options. Discovering the working hours for hotel services and restaurants. Again, 90%. Finding nearby parking, restaurants, pharmacies. 90%. When booking a service online, the use of generative AI is considered most helpful for hotels, 53%, flights, 47%, a combination of travel options, 42%, restaurants, 42%, cars, 37%, and excursions, 35%. People. This goes both ways. The consumers expect the brands and tools they're using to leverage generative AI to make the experience easier, and brands and services, you have the opportunity to better serve the customers using the power of generative AI. Next point here, 2/3 of marketers are already using generative AI while still in the experimentation phase. Marketers expect generative AI to transform the industry. They're also excited about the potential of enhancing their shopping experiences, with most respondents excited about the use of generative AI to help enable websites that automatically filter products based on consumers' needs, 40%, designing a custom product, 37%, summarizing product reviews, 37%, chatbot-based customer service, 36%, and virtual personal shoppers to customize options. So my point here being, Adobe has a lot of reach of a lot of people, and I believe that I don't know about half of Americans, everybody using AI, but definitely those who Adobe surveyed, which I'm going to guess are on the more higher tech end, more and more people are using AI. Whichever way you read this, AI is powerful. My name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com, and I hope this little tidbit was useful for you. So listen, if you're just joining again, this is the Rundown with Ramon. That was a special report. I'm diving into and sharing with you all this information about the power of AI because I don't want you to be in the dark and I don't want you to miss the boat on this absolutely transformational technology. AI is here, generative AI is here, and if you're not using it to transform your business, sending it data, you have to be careful about privacy, where you're sending it, make sure it's not publicly available, consumer data or private information, things of this nature. But sending in, 1,000 columns of a spreadsheet and saying, what is the anomalies in here, things of this nature, this is what AI can do. And again, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon, if you're just joining us. So let's move on to more of the Rundown with Ramon today. We talked about the best criteria for selecting a business partner in our previous episode. Does sleeping with an eye mask improve learning and alertness? Well, I don't know, but Harvard had an interesting article and insight on that. If you're seeking better cognitive health, start by turning off the lights at night. All of us have an internal clock that regulates our circadian rhythms, including when we sleep and when we are awake. And light is the single most important factor that helps establish when we should feel wakeful and when we should feel sleepy. So let me ask you a question. How dark is your bedroom? And to find out why that matters and whether sleeping in an eye mask is worthwhile, check this out. So, one, let's understand how light is related to sleep. I think it's important to understand that first and foremost, how light is related to sleep. Our circadian system evolved well before the advent of artificial light. Now, I believe in creation, but some people believe in evolution. Take your pick. But here's the point. As anyone who has been to Times Square can confirm, just a few watts of power can trick the brain into believing that it is daytime at any time of night. So what's keeping your bedroom alight? I want to read that again. As anyone who's been to Times Square confirm, just a few watts of power can trick your brain into believing that it's daytime. So a tablet used in bed at night to watch a movie is more than 100 times brighter than being outside when there's a full moon. Working on or watching a computer screen at night is about 10 times brighter than standing in a well-lit parking lot. So light exposure at night affects the natural processes that help prepare the body for sleep. Specifically, your pineal gland produces melatonin in response to darkness. This hormone is integral for the circadian regulation of sleep. Next point here, interesting point here. What happens when we are exposed to light at night? Being exposed to light at night suppresses melatonin production, changing our sleep patterns compared to sleeping without a nightlight. Adults who slept next to a nightlight had shallower sleep and more frequent arousals. Even outdoor artificial light at night, such as street lamps, has been linked with getting less sleep. Could sleeping with an eye mask help? Now, this is the question we're trying to unpack and solve today. Can sleeping with an eye mask help? Well, researchers from Cardiff University in the United Kingdom conducted a series of experiments to see if wearing an eye mask while sleeping at night could improve certain measures of learning and alertness. Roughly 90 healthy young adults, 18 to 35 years of age, alternated between sleeping while wearing an eye mask or being exposed to light at night. They recorded their sleep patterns in a sleep diary. In the first part of the study, participants wore an intact eye mask for a week. Then during the next week, they wore an eye mask with a hole exposing each eye so the mask didn't block the light. After sleeping with no light, wearing the intact eye mask, and with minimal light exposure, the eye mask with the holes, participants completed 3 cognitive tasks on days 6 and 7 of each week. So interesting. After sleeping with no mask, with no light, and with minimal light exposure, participants completed 3 tasks. So first, the point is, let me get to the point here. Sorry. Finally, a motor skill. So what do the researchers learn? Let's get to that. That's the juicy part I want to bring out to you. Should you wear an eye mask or not? No research study is ever perfect, so it's important to take the conclusions with a grain of salt. Yes, but according to sleep diary data, there was no difference in the amount of sleep nor in their perceptions of sleep quality, regardless of whether people wore an eye mask or not. Further, in a second experiment with about 30 participants, the researchers tracked sleep objectively using a monitoring device called the Dream Headband. They found no changes to the structure of sleep at all. So it looks like a sleep mask maybe doesn't do much help or not. I find it does for me, but the research shows that maybe it's not as important as we may think it is. Listen, everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon, and I want to wish you the best life you can. I want you to go about living your best life and get on the AI bandwagon. And most importantly, here's what I want you to take away. If you like this insight, feel free to go to zoneofgenius.com for much more of it. I want to challenge you. Be clear on what you really want in life. Be clear on what's important to you, what you want to get out of life or not get out of life. I challenge you. Ask yourself, do you want to be in business? Do you even want to be in business? A journey of entrepreneurship, as many of you are on, understand there's no music or soundtrack in life or business. It's the tough road ahead that's really a challenge and important. I'm looking down here to see how my sound has come out, if you can hear me well or not. It looks like my mic is a little soft, but we'll see. But there's no soundtrack. There's no music. It's just life. Are you hungry enough to get to where you need to be in business and in life? What is your pricing like? Don't sell too cheap. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you do best? Listen, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. And I'm so glad you're here today. Go out